Good day everyone, especially to our instructor Sir Robert Wariza. I'm Nervin John Civicada from Group 6 and I'm the first discussant in this topic. Our topic is about the educational evaluation. Here are our lesson objectives. At the end of this discussion, students are able to distinguish clearly between measurement, evaluation, grading system, and assessment. Number 2, compare and assess the different purposes of measurement, evaluation, and assessment. Number 3, state the purpose of measurement, evaluation, and assessment. And finally, number 4, differentiate the types of evaluation and type of test. Without further delay, let us finally begin our discussion. Assessment, measurement, and evaluation. These three terms are often used interchangeably by people as if they have the same meaning. Like for us students, kung maghimo kita ng mga reflections or mga essay, usahay magamit nato ini sa ng mga terms kay tuo sa lagi kita na parehas na sila ng meaning. Well, in education, this is not so. As a future teacher or a teacher, you should be able to distinguish one from the other. In this discussion, we are going to know the difference between assessment, measurement, and evaluation. First, let us begin with assessment. So what is assessment? Assessment is the systematic process of documenting and using empirical data to measure knowledge, skills, attitudes, or beliefs. Teachers gather information by giving tests, conducting interviews, and monitoring behavior. So basically, ang assessment, nag-refer ini siya sa wide variety ng methods or tools na gigamit ng mga educators to measure or document the learning progress, skill acquisition, or educational needs ng ilang mga students. Ang example ng mga assessment kay ang mga tests, exams, quizzes, etc. In the next one, we have measurement. So what is measurement? The term measurement simply means determining the attributes of an object, skill, or knowledge. Determining this must be physically done. Measurement is therefore a process of assigning numerals to objects, quantities, or events in order to give quantitative meaning to such qualities. Measurement is all about the numbers and being able to quantify the performance or the abilities ng mga estudyante. Ang example ng mga measurement kay ang scores na makuha nato gikan sa mga assessments like tests, exams, quizzes, etc. Measurement stops at ascribing the quantity but not making the value judgment on the child's performance. Meaning na ang measurement kay ang measurement dagid siya taman. Ngana dagid siya just numerical data, nothing more. In the next one, we have evaluation. So what is evaluation? Evaluation adds the ingredient of value judgment to assessment. It is concerned with the application of its findings and implies some judgment of the effectiveness, social utility, or desirability of a product, process, or progress in terms of carefully defined and agreed upon objectives or values. Evaluation often includes recommendations for constructive action. So to simply put it, evaluation is all about judgment. Evaluation is the process of giving interpretations to measurements. So they evaluate the information gathered to determine what students know and understand, how far they have progressed and how fast, and how their scores and progress compared to those of other students. So here we have an example to better understand assessment, measurement, and evaluation. So let us take a look at the assessment. So just as I have mentioned earlier, assessments are the methods or tools that are used by educators to measure the knowledge and skills of students. So ang ato example nga di sa assessment kay ang summative test, kay assessment sa siya. So let's take a look at the measurement. Ang measurement it is the numerical data that was gathered from the assessment. Meaning ang measurement kay ang mga scores or ratings na kuha ng mga students gikan sa assessment. Like sa summative test, nga di sa ato example, no? So, ang ato example nga di kay nakakuha ng 2/30 na score ang isa ka estudyante sa summative test. Sa measurement, dili na pwede hatagan ng meaning ang score na kuha ng estudyante. Nganha dagid siya taman sa pag-ascribe ng score or rating. Let's take a look at evaluation. So, nga di sa evaluation, nga di na nato hatagan ng meaning or interpretation ng score na kuha ng estudyante. Ang ato example kay ang score na 2/30, no? So sa evaluation nga di na kita pwede mo laong na low ang score ng estudyante, na-feel niya ang test or basin wala niya masabti ang topic naman gamay i-score. So amoy ang siya ang assessment, measurement, and evaluation. Now that we know the meaning of assessment, measurement, and evaluation, let us further discuss the differences between evaluation and measurement. In evaluation, pupils' qualitative progress are tested. In measurement, only quantitative progress of the pupils can be explored. So as we have discussed earlier, measurement is about numerical data which are gathered from assessments, while evaluation is about judgment. Ang measurement kay nganhan ataman sa pag-provide or paghatag sa score or rating ng estudyante. Sa evaluation na mahitabo ang paghatag ng critiques or judgment about sa score. The judgment determines whether the student is doing good or the student needs improvement. Number 2, measurement only provides numerical data. Evaluation is interpreting the numerical data to determine its value. So just like our example earlier, yag-conduct ng test ang isa ka teacher. Tapos ang iya isa ka student kaya kakuha ng 2/30 na score. Through evaluation, pwede hatagan ng teacher ng interpretation or judgment yadto na score. Pwede kita mulaw na ang 2/30 na score kay low, or yaoy mga lessons na wala masabti ng student naman bubuya score, things like that. So evaluation is about how we interpret or value the measurement or the numerical data. Number 3, measurements are more objective, while evaluations could be seen to be more subjective. So measurements are more objective because it is about numerical data. This numerical data is also gathered by the means of reliable and valid assessment tools. Naman, it's more objective. Evaluations, on the other hand, are more subjective because it is about how the numerical data is interpreted. So as we all know, interpretations are usually based on what we know or what we understand personally. That's why it may vary from person to person. Also, when we are judging, sometimes opinions or biases may get involved. That is why it could be seen to be more subjective. Number 4, measurements are mostly used as means of data collection and provide the basis for further analysis, whereas evaluation can determine the qualities as a whole and interpret the results and scope for improvement. Number 5, evaluation aims at the modification of education system by bringing a change in the behavior. Measurement aims at measurement only. So how do you discuss na to kaina? Evaluation is about interpreting the grades or ratings of the student. It is about judging what the next best move is to bring change or improvement for the student. So ang measurement is just measurement. Nothing more, nothing less. Number 6, measurement answers how much. Evaluation answers how good or how well. So by how much, we are referring to the scores or rating of a student. We are looking for or asking for the performance of the student in a numerical form. So sa measurement, nangutana or gihanap nato kung uno ang score or rating ng students. Numbers dagayod. The question of how good belongs to evaluation. The evaluation is where we give meaning to the rating that the students got. Kadi na kita pwede mag-decide kung dayaw ba ang performance ng estudyante or dili. That would be all for my part. I hope you learned a thing or two. Let us now proceed to the next discussion.
Good day, everyone. I am May Ann Ross Visoyman, your second reporter. So the assigned topic that was given to our group is all about educational evaluation. So in the first reporter, Sir Vicada already clarified the difference between measurement and evaluation in educational system. So now what I'm going to tackle, we are going to talk about the purpose of evaluation. So why does evaluation always been pushed in every school or to the teachers? So the purpose of evaluation, according to Ogoni 1984, educational evaluation is carried out from time to time for the following purposes. So first, to determine the relative effectiveness of the program in terms of students' behavioral output, measurement, and evaluation in education. Next is to make reliable decisions about educational planning. So, the schools and teachers, of course, they will make decisions in educational planning for more effective to cater the learners, and evaluation can help it. To ascertain the worth of time, energy, and resources invested in a program. Next is to identify students' growth or lack of growth in acquiring desirable knowledge, skills, attitudes, and societal values. So evaluation can also help to the teachers see which is the students being lack of an educational development. Also, they can see if the students have a development or improvement in the different desirable skills, knowledge, attitudes, and etc. Next is to help teachers determine the effectiveness of their teaching techniques and learning materials. So by measurement, after the measurement, they will evaluate or make judgment whether the teachers needs to is there any changes to their teaching strategies in order for them to come up with new ideas on how are their pedagogical way and the learning materials can cater the students for more effective result or to attain their goals. Next is to help motivate students to want to learn more as they discover their progress or lack of progress and given tasks. So the evaluation could help students determine their lack in progress and also about their improvement. Next is to encourage students to develop a sense of discipline and systematic study habits. So evaluation can help the students have their self-discipline and develop a habits that could help them improve in educational progress. To provide educational administrators with adequate information about teachers' effectiveness and school needs. Evaluation, one of the main purpose of evaluation in a certain school is to determine which part the teachers or the school needs to improve or what are the needs does the school need to cater. Next is to acquaint parents or guardians with their children's performance. Of course, the parents and the guardians needs to know what are their children's doing at this school. To identify problems that might hinder or prevent achievement of set goals. An evaluation can also help determine what are the factors or the hinder that prevents achieving the set goals, so that they can come up for more effective solutions. Purpose of evaluation is to predict the general trend in the development of teaching learning process. So as I said, the evaluation can help improve the teaching and learning process. It is also to ensure an economical and efficient management of scarce resources, to provide an objective basis for determining the promotion of students from one class to another, as well as the awards of certificate. Next is to provide a just basis for determining at what level of education the possessor of a certificate should enter a career. So we're done about the purpose of evaluation. Hope you have you gain knowledge about it. Why does it is very significant in the school and especially to the teachers. Next, we are going to tackle or talk about the process and principles of evaluation. So the principles and process of evaluation, the purpose of evaluation is to give shape to educational objectives and learning materials. As I said, the evaluation can help the school administrators to attain their objectives and provide learning materials for more effective result. It is also to make teaching methods simple and effective and the classroom climate pleasant and conducive for completing the teaching and learning process. The teaching is not stuffing the mind with dead load of information. On contrary, it denotes expanding the abilities of students to learn, comprehend the subject content studied when the need arises, use it to a new context. So, as a teacher or the school is the provider of knowledge or information to the students, they should give information that is useless or have dead load of information. Those knowledge should attained by the students in order for them to use it to a certain phenomenon or use this their knowledge about that was given by the school or the teachers, they must cater it to use in their daily lives. And also, what we generally use in educational institution are scholastic achievement tests. So scholastic achievement test is the common used in education nowadays for them to evaluate or the measurement for them to come up with the evaluation or judgment. There are other kinds of tests like personality test, mental ability test, and sociometry or etc. There are different types of tests in order for them to measure. Next is, though evaluation is more scientific than measurement, it should be admitted that they are not capable of producing the true picture because we all know that measurement is just about measuring. Measuring is certain the students or certain area. But the most important thing is the evaluation, which you can have your true pictures. It can provide a useful hypothesis for value judgment. Next, there are simple evaluation methods like observation, analyzing anecdotes, and simple recall for which not much training are required. But to use complex evaluation methods like personality test and aptitude test, special training is necessary for administering them and interpreting the obtained data. So if you're going to run a personality and aptitude test, you should have the proper training in order for you to interpret and administer the data effectively. It is essential for a good evaluation system to be comprehensive and capable of accurate measurement of behavior modification. So in evaluation, you should be comprehensive and capable of measurement in order to avoid any failure or also avoid biases to come up for more effective solutions. So that's all for my part, and I hope you gained something. For the next reporter, it will be discussed by Ma'am Janice Bertodazzo by the types of evaluation. That's all. Thank you.
Good day, everyone. My name is Janice Bertodazzo. So today I will discuss to you about the types of evaluation. So there are two type of evaluations: the formative evaluations and summative evaluations. So, what is a formative evaluation? The purpose of formative evaluations is to find out whether after a learning experience, students are able to do what they were previously unable to do. Its ultimate goal is usually to help students perform well at the end of the program. So formative assessment, formative evaluation, formative feedback, or assessment for learning, including diagnostic testing, is a range of formal and informal assessment procedures conducted by teachers during the learning process in order to modify teaching and learning activities to improve student attainment. So what is a summative evaluation? Summative evaluation is often an attempt to determine the extent the board objectives of the program have been achieved. It is concerned with purposes, progress, and outcomes of the teaching learning process. So summative evaluation is judgmental in nature of often carries trait with it that the students may have no knowledge of the evaluators and failures has a far-reaching effect on the students. So summative assessment aims to evaluate student learning and academic achievements at the end of the term, years, or semesters by comparing it against the universal standards or school benchmark. So summative assessment is like end of the term or the midterm exam cumulative work over an extended period, such as final project or creating portfolio. So the difference between the formative and summative evaluations is formative evaluations. The goal of formative evaluation is to monitor students' learning to provide ongoing feedback that can be used by instructors to improve their teaching and by students to improve their learning. While summative evaluations, the goal of summative evaluations is to evaluate students' learning at the end of an instructional unit by comparing it against some standards or benchmark. So, however, summative is more objective than formative evaluation. Why? The objective of formative assessment is to find out how much students know as they move from one learning phase to another. There are no high stakes attached to formative evaluations, and the students' performances are not measured against rubrics or standardized benchmark. So, summative assessment is traditional method of evaluations where the teacher measures the student's performance using a standardized benchmark. It is done at the end of the course or instructional unit, and it focuses on the program's outcomes. So unlike formative evaluation, summative assessment has a high point value, which is why it is used to determine whether the student gets a promotion, passes a course, or moves to the next level in their learnings. A teacher can solely rely on the result of an end of terms examinations to grade the students and promote them. That's all for my topic about the types of evaluations. Thank you, and I hope you learned something about my discussions. God bless.
Grading system. Evaluation provides as essential yardstick to judge the quality of student. It plays an important role in the education system. It is also provide motivation and a sense of purpose to both teacher and student to achieve set goals. The term examination has come to be associated with stress and anxiety. The process of teaching and learning, which is supposed to be meaningful for student, loses its joy because of this negative connotation of examination. School begins ranking students on the basis of their marks from as early as their pre-primary years. Such a drive has several negative effects on learning. Students, parents, and society at large become anxious in the race to acquire more and more marks in examination, which leads to an extremely stressful existence. Generally, the grading system is the process by which educators evaluate the performance of the pupils in exam on the standard particularly scale, which is based on the points entirely and consists of the grades like A to F or range like 1 to 10. Here in our country, some universities follow a 4-point scale, which resembles or is equivalent to the US grading system. This system uses a grade between 0.00 to 4.00, wherein 4.0 is the highest and 0.0 being a failing mark. Achievement test. So we have here three definitions of achievement test. First is from M.N. Dhoni, any test that measure the attainments and accomplishment of an individual after a period of training or learning. According to Thorndike and Hadjin, the type of ability test that describes what a person has learned to do. And according to Gronlund, a systematic procedure for determining the amount a student has learned through instructions. So, achievement test is an important tool in school evaluation and has great significance in measuring instructional progress and progress of the student in the subject area. Achievement means one's learning attainments, accomplishment, proficiency, etc. It is directly related to the pupil growth and development in educational situation.
Again, good day everyone, especially to our instructor, Sir Robert Wareza. Good day, sir. I am Angelica B. Umpakan, the last discussant for this reporting. And today, I will discuss to all of you the types of achievement tests. Achievement tests can be categorized into 4 types, which are the oral test, the written test, performance test, and objective type test. So first is oral test. Oral tests are normally used for lower classes and for diagnostic work to determine learning difficulties, and also they are used for testing individuals. So, in this type of test, the teacher meets the students face-to-face and asks questions. And in oral test, questions when not understood can be repeated or rephrased so that the students get clearly in question. Oral testing is also a highly flexible tool in the hands of skillful teacher. But oral tests are not free from defects and they are time-consuming and subjective. So the second is written test. These are the tests wherein the answers to the questions are to be recorded in the sheets of paper to be gone through and evaluated by the teacher leisurely later. So, in this type of test, it is more on written and the answers to every questions to the students are recorded in the sheets of paper to be evaluated by the teacher leisurely later. So in long answer essay question and short answer paragraph question, the language efficiency as well as the specificity of the points of presentation, which are purely subjective, can be tested in this type of test. Also, an objective praise-response question, recall or recognition, the accuracy and correctness of the responses without subjectivity are also tested in this type of test. In written test, there are 2 types. First is the AC type test. The AC test is probably the most popular of teacher-made tests. In general, a classroom AC test consists of a small number of questions to which the student is expected to demonstrate in his or her response his or her ability to recall a factual, conceptual, or procedural knowledge, organize this knowledge, and interpret the information critically in a logical, integrated answer to the question. An AC test item can be classified as either an extended response or a short answer. Then last is short answer type test. Short answer questions are typically composed of a brief prompt that demands a written answers that varies in length from 1 or 2 words to a few sentences. They are most often used to test basic knowledge of key facts and terms. So next is performance test. Performance tests, these are the tests concerning the psychomotor activity assessment. The skills of observation, drawing, experimentation, manipulation, articulation, and etc. are significantly tested as in performance test. So, in this type of test, the psychomotor of every student are used and tested by the teacher. The last is objective type test. The traditional system of examination has failed to bring about integration between teaching, learning, and evaluation as it relied more on the memorizing ability of the students. Innovation of objective type test is aimed at rectifying the defects in the AC type questions. The objective type tests require specific answers in 1 or 2 words and they are highly objective. So, these tests are suitable for the modern educational practices as there lies more objectivity in scoring. And this test enables the student to become through in the subject matter, and it is also educative for the students as they are more interested in answering this type of test. Under objective type test, there are 5 types of objective items, which are the multiple choice type, matching type, true or false type, completion type, and analogy type. Multiple choice type. Multiple choice questions are composed of one question with multiple possible answers, including the correct answer and several incorrect answers. In this test, typically, students select the correct answers by circling the associated number or letter, or filling the associated circle on the machine-readable response sheet. Next is matching type. Matching type, students respond to matching questions by pairing each of a set of stems, e.g. definitions, with one of the choices provided on the exam. So these questions are often used to assess recognition and recall, and so are most often used in courses where acquisition of detailed knowledge is an important goal. They are generally quick and easy to create and mark, but students require more time to respond to these questions than a similar number of multiple choice or true or false items. Next is true or false type. True or false questions are only composed of statements. Students respond to the questions by indicating whether the statement is true or false. So, in this test, the students only choose and answer true or false to every question whether the statements they read is true or false. The next is completion type. The completion item requires the student to answer a question or to finish an incomplete statement by filling in a blank with the correct word or phrase. Then last is analogy type. At the outset, analogy is used to refer to the relationship between the target and the source of information. It is used as a process of transferring information from a particular target to another target which is similar to the other one. To be precise, analogy is treated as the identification of relationship between two terms or conditions. The analogy also plays a notorious role in problem solving, creativity, decision-making, perception, memory, and communication. The great Greek philosophers Plato and Aristotle also gave a wider vision to analogy. They defined analogy as a shared abstraction since they did not share necessarily a logical relationship but also an idea, a pattern, an attribute, an effect, or a function. So, the analogy has a wide range of purpose in many subjects and fields. We could notice the use of analogies in various studies and subjects like mathematics, science, trials, information technology, economics, political science, mental ability, philosophy, and etc. So that's all our report. Thank you for listening and God bless us all.